In the high-stakes game of naval warfare, there are no second chances. To strike an American warship, you must not fail. The 14th of January, 2024, 2 o'clock in the morning. From the coastal region of Al Hudaydah, Yemen, a modified anti-ship ballistic missile tears through the night sky, streaking towards its target at over 3 kilometers per second. Its launch plume blooms over the coast, a bright, lethal arc. Its target, the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, the USS Laboon, callsign DDG-58, on patrol in the southern Red Sea. The missile's GPS guidance system quickly locks onto coordinates. Coordinates allegedly relayed by Iranian vessels operating in the Red Sea. But unknown to its operators, a fatal error was already in motion, a minuscule 0.5 degree deviation in the missile's inertial navigation, a seemingly insignificant flaw that would soon cascade into catastrophic failure. At these speeds, tiny errors multiply. The weapon is a modified version of Iran's Khalij-Fars missile. Due to its limited range of 299 kilometers, Houthi operators were forced to take a tremendous risk, moving their launcher dangerously close to the coastline, any farther inland, out of reach. This move, while necessary for the attack, exposed them to detection and retaliation. Every kilometer closer invited satellites, drones, and patrol craft to notice and strike back. They gambled anyway. Every move had a cost. The mathematics of the attack were unforgiving. The missile's margin of error is about 150 meters. The Laboon is 155 meters long. This meant a successful hit was only possible if the target was anchored, or moving at a crawl. At cruising speed, the missed distance balloons. The ocean leaves little margin. However, fate seemed to be tilting against the Laboon. These warships are titans of the sea, powered by 4 massive gas turbine engines, capable of pushing the vessel beyond 30 knots, over 55 kilometers per hour. But speed only matters if you can sustain it. Endurance wins wars. But this immense power comes at a cost, a staggering 24,600 liters of fuel per hour at full throttle. This voracious appetite means it cannot sprint indefinitely. To conserve fuel and meet rigorous maintenance schedules, the ship often operates in a special mode. Patrols last days, not minutes. Restraint keeps the mission alive. It's called single shaft drag mode. One shaft carries the load while the other trails. Systems idle to save fuel and engine hours. Acceleration is sacrificed for endurance. Spooling turbines and bringing gear online takes time. It's how a destroyer stretches range, preserves machinery, and waits. Bringing the full plant to battle speed is not instant. It takes precious moments. In drag, the sea itself resists the hull. Its speed plummets to a mere 3 knots, about 5.5 kilometers per hour. Its maneuverability is drastically reduced. It becomes a sitting duck. And it was in this precise window of vulnerability that the Houthis launched their strike. The horizon crawls. But the fate of the Laboon was about to change. High above the Red Sea, circling silently at an altitude of 8,200 meters, was an American E-2D Hawkeye. Within moments, the scope paints a clean arc bearing, altitude, time to impact. Seconds after the launch, its colossal AN divided by APY-9, radar dome detected the threat. The crew identified the target's trajectory and speed, confirming it was a ballistic missile. Using the SecureLink 16 data link, they transmitted the missile's track directly to the USS Laboon, giving the ship the aircraft's eyes. This is network-centric warfare in action. The crew of the Laboon now had the warning they desperately needed. But the clock was ticking. They had just 30 seconds to react. The Houthi missile was now entering its terminal phase, executing a high-angle dive. This tactic is designed to exploit a key weakness in many naval defense systems, a radar blind spot directly above the ship, a zenith, where look angles are steep. Reaction windows shrink, and clutter around the mast can mask a plunging track, especially on older defenses. But the Laboon is equipped with a formidable spy radar. Its phased array panels easily detected the plunging threat. 4 fixed faces sweep the sky electronically, refreshing tracks many times each second, leaving no hole overhead. And as the crew braced for impact, they would soon realize that luck was on their side. Remember that tiny 0.5 degree error at launch? Over the course of its flight, that error had compounded. The missile was now a staggering 16 kilometers off course. It was flying blind to its own mistake, its systems still believing it was on track to its target. Inside the Laboon, the warning from the Hawkeye triggered an emergency startup sequence. The officer of the deck gave the order, and in a flurry of activity under red lights, checklists collapsed to a single command, turbines spooled, generators synchronized, and combat systems came alive, bringing full power online in record time. In just 90 seconds, the destroyer roared to life, accelerating from a sluggish 5.5 kilometers per hour to its full combat speed of over 55. As it gained speed, the Laboon now turned hard to port, presenting the smallest possible target. But it was unnecessary. The crew, tracking the missile's flawed trajectory, realized it would miss completely. 30 seconds later, they watched as it plunged harmlessly into the ocean, 20 kilometers away, far astern and well outside any engagement envelope, well beyond the ship's wake. They were safe. Now, it was time to respond. The Hawkeye's mission instantly transformed. From Guardian to Hunter, the E-2D fuses radar, passive electronic support, and long on-station endurance into a command node in the sky. Through cooperative engagement, it correlates tracks, predicts geometry, and assigns tasks, turning a single detection into a kill chain. Data linked to Aegis, the picture stabilizes and expands. The technological gap becomes a chasm. The Houthis rely on simple drones for battlefield assessment, but the United States military has eyes everywhere. The next piece of the puzzle was a KH-11 reconnaissance satellite. Orbiting roughly 500 kilometers above the Earth, it can image at remarkable resolution under the right conditions. Cross-cued by the Hawkeye's report, tasking flowed to the satellite. On its next pass, sensors slewed off nadir to image the coastal launch area, stitching multiple frames to cover likely sites, then forwarding imagery to analysts. They ran change detection against earlier passes, flagged scorch marks, transporter erector footprints, generator trailers, camouflage nets, and fresh tire tracks. A signature no decoy could fake. Within minutes, a target folder took shape, coordinates, timestamps, confidence level, and it moved down the chain. Shadow length analysis, fixed local time, terrain masking ruled out false cues, correlation with signals, intercepts confirmed the node. That's like being in Washington, D.C. and seeing how big a Subway sandwich is in New York City. With this astonishing capability, the satellite took the general location provided by the Hawkeye and in less than an hour turned it into precise, targetable coordinates. Through rapid downlink and exploitation, cloud gaps and off-nadir geometry were corrected in processing. The error ellipse shrank to a single grid, a point someone could strike. The response was immediate, at 0.3, 0 amperes, M. Just 1 hour after the failed Houthi attack, the first wave of F divided by A-18, Super Hornets catapulted off the deck of the USS Eisenhower, afterburners flaring into the night. Their mission? To hunt and to destroy. Now approaching Yemen, the Hornets established contact with the orbiting Hawkeye. The pilots were warned that the Houthis, aware of their failed attack, would not risk a second attempt from the same location. Then, without warning, the display in the lead, Hornet flickered to life. Threat libraries loaded, bearings populating, range gates opening as the formation crossed the coastline. The callouts were calm and measured. Its ALR-67 radar warning receiver had picked up a signal in the telltale frequency of a Houthi 1S-91 radar hidden between two apartment buildings. Although the system instantly identified the emitter and geolocated the lobe, rules of engagement still required visual confirmation before any strike. No mistakes over a city. Urban clutter meant collateral damage risk. The formation needed to confirm antennas, cabling, generators, and an unmistakable firing position before releasing weapons. And this is where the ATFLIR targeting pod comes into play. From a safe distance of nearly 90 kilometers, the pilots could visually identify legitimate military targets and distinguish them from civilian structures. Stabilized imagery, laser spot, and metadata told the story. But after confirming, the flight lead assigned the targets and built the attack timeline. The pod's mid-wave infrared and high magnification optics resolved fine detail at range. Heat plumes, cable runs, and service vehicles painted a clear picture. Crews searched for human patterns, sentries, runners, lookouts. Positive identification came first. Restricted fire lines and no-strike lists framed every decision. One jet for the launcher, a second for its radar system, a third for a command bunker located 3.2 kilometers away. The fourth would act as backup, sanitize the air picture, and eliminate any returning Houthi drones or pop-up threats on egress. Weaponeering complete, the lead set push time, deconflicted altitudes, and assigned egress headings. Data cards updated, attack geometry refined, jammers on standby, abort codes, contingencies, and tanker windows were briefed in a final, quiet cadence. But the ATFLIR revealed a serious complication. The Houthis hadn't just left the launcher in the open, they had hidden it inside a civilian air raid shelter, reinforced with 1.8 meters of solid concrete, doors braced, and blast vents camouflaged. Buried deep inside the structure, Fortunately, the F divided by A 18 seconds came with a special surprise, the GBU-31 Joint Direct Attack Munition. This is no ordinary bomb. It's a 907 kilogram bunker buster, built around the formidable BLU-109 warhead, guided by GPS and inertial navigation to deliver steel exactly on target. Programmable kits allow coordinate updates in flight. The weapon rides a computed path regardless of haze or darkness, turning guidance into certainty. Its hardened steel casing, 2.5 centimeters thick, allows it to function like a precision anvil, capable of piercing up to 2.4 meters of concrete. Inside, it packs nearly 250 kilograms of high explosives, ensuring anything within a sealed space has a near zero chance of survival when the casing finally gives. Fragmentation is secondary. What matters is deep penetration and violent overpressure reflecting inside confined spaces, shredding equipment, and collapsing internal walls. But its deadliest feature is the programmable fuse. Before takeoff, technicians on the Eisenhower had precisely set the fuse for a 70 millisecond delay. This ensures the warhead detonates after breaching the concrete, exploding inside the bunker, not on the roof. Delay buys depth. Steel arrives before chemistry, multiplying over pressure and fragmentation within confined rooms. At 345 amperes, the first GBU-31 arrived. The infrared camera shows it striking the top of the bunker, piercing the 1.8 meter concrete slab. And then, 70 milliseconds later, a massive internal detonation rips the structure apart from the inside out. Sensors saturate, dust geysers and shock rings pulse outward. Seconds later, the second bomb, its fuse set to 0 for instant detonation, obliterated the radar installation. Simultaneously, the third jet peeled off to strike the command bunker. The Houthi operators attempted a desperate retreat. But against a supersonic bomb, any escape was hopeless. Signatures simply vanished. Thermal spill showed secondary fires and power loss. Antennas toppled, generators stopped, the command node lost voice and data in a single heartbeat, and the air picture went dark for anyone still trying to fight. With the 3 primary targets eliminated, the 4th Hornet used bunker busters to destroy the shallow trenches housing the Houthi reconnaissance drone. Even against soft soil, the bombs were devastating, penetrating up to 9 meters deep and collapsing revetments. The drone threat smothered at its source. Follow-on passes cratered approach trenches and sealed culverts, turning the site into a patchwork of pits. Sensors scanned for movers, nothing emerged. Battle damage assessment began immediately. Angle, shadow, and heat all confirmed the kills. The corridor for drone launches closed, the communications relay silent, the threat neutralized beyond quick repair. Pilots checked fuel, confirmed no strike boundaries, and deconflicted egress lanes with the airborne controller before turning for home. With all 4 drones and their operators neutralized, the last jet rejoined the formation. Strike data confirmed mission success. A textbook operation, yet only the tip of the iceberg in an escalating Red Sea conflict, for now, at least.